This is Bob Iger, CEO of Disney. Now, he just lost $182 million on his Star Wars projects last year, but don't worry, everything's looking up. The Disney streaming service is coming, and that's going to fix everything, right? Oh, whoops. Hey, if you're new here but enjoying the content, join us, subscribe now, and ring that bell for notifications. Welcome to Comic Artist Pro Secrets. I am Ethan Van Sciver, 26-year veteran of the comic book industry, world's most charming, elegant, eloquent, and yet humble man. Great big Star Wars fan, and that's why I'm concerned today. That's why there is reason for caution, reason for alarm. You know, Disney lost a lot of money last year on Star Wars, but it's like, hey, we'll make it up, all right? Let's just call it a mulligan. We are going to have a heck of a time once we get all of our movies back from Netflix and once we launch our Disney Plus streaming service that's going to have, well, some stuff on it. It's not going to have the Star Wars movies. None of the Star Wars movies are actually available for Disney to stream on their own, okay? Actually, Turner owns all of the Star Wars movies, and Disney itself is not going to own the Star Wars movies for broadcast until sometime in 2024. Why? Because Kathleen Kennedy sold the rights to the Star Wars movies to Turner for about $150 million, which she then promptly lost on Solo. So good times. They have to make new stuff. The first Disney Star Wars movie that they're going to be able to stream on their Disney Plus streaming service before then is going to be Episode 9. They don't even own Solo. They don't even own The Last Jedi. They can't do it. So already we're in real trouble. So they were hoping Disney Plus was going to be the answer, guys. They were hoping it was going to be the answer. It was going to solve everything. But no, look, Disney apparently, according to CNBC, thank you CNPC, is already losing over $1 billion in streaming, and its Netflix competitor has yet to launch. So it hasn't even launched Disney Plus yet, which is meant to compete directly with Netflix. Good luck with that. And it's already lost $1 billion. Disney's stake in Hulu and its ownership of BAMTech led to a loss of more than $1 billion in the latest fiscal year. Oh my God, these guys are just bleeding money. These guys are bleeding money. The world is starving. The world is literally on fire, and Disney is losing $1 billion trying to compete with Netflix. I don't think it's going to be... Nobody's ever going to say, hey, Disney Plus and chill. They're never going to... It's Netflix and chill. Direct-to-consumer losses should continue to surge as Disney ramps up Disney Plus, its new streaming service. Look at this man's face. He's like, well, you know, I've got other things going on. Well, I hope so. Disney isn't launching its new streaming service until later this year, but investors are already learning the economic challenges. Read catastrophe. Enormous failures of the business. All right, challenges. Everything's a challenge. You can overcome challenges. Can you overcome the idiocy of SJW Disney? That's the question. I'm not so sure that you can. The media company said in a filing on Friday that its investment in Hulu was the primary contributor to a $580 million loss in equity investments in the fiscal year that ended September 30th. This is just wonderful. Well, maybe Marvel Comics is doing better. Maybe they can... No, they're not. Marvel Comics is doing cat variant covers next month. So that's literally all of their comics. Well, you can get the main cover, or they have an alternate cover with a picture of a cat on it. Okay, so that's what Marvel's doing. Feel good about this. This isn't quite as... Is it no, it's not even as embarrassing as that. Don't look to Marvel Comics to fix your problems. That's what I'm trying to say. Disney lost, additionally, $469 million in its direct-to-consumer segment, largely from BAMTech, the streaming technology that powers ESPN Plus and other over-the-top services. That's more than $1 billion associated with streaming. Now, streaming it's definitely the future. People like choice. People do not like programming anymore. The only people who like programming are NPCs. They need it to interact with human beings on a daily basis. But normal people want choice now, and choice is what's available on Netflix. Choice is what's available on YouTube. It's right at your fingertips whenever you want it. And so Disney is seeing this as the future, and they're going to try to compete with a mama jama, big gigantic corporation like Netflix, which has changed the world. I think that probably they're going to discover that Netflix's sheer variety of content is going to shut them out of the market when they are only offering Disney content. And even though Disney owns everything right now, all entertainment seems to be Disney, or at least they're working towards that. Netflix has a nicer variety of things to look at. So I already kind of smell a little bit of disaster in this. I sense defeat right out of the gate. Right out of the gate, I sense that the horse is lame. I'm have to admit, a little bit worried about this. The area where CEO Bob Iger is focusing his attention. All right, so Disney will debut its Disney Plus offering later in 2019 to better compete with Netflix and Amazon streaming. Losses in streaming will likely surge in the early days of the venture as content and technology costs spike. They actually have to create stuff. I mean, the thing about it is that, because they don't have any access to already pre-existing Star Wars content, they have to create Star Wars content. And one of the things that they're doing is doing a show called The Mandalorian, which is going to cost them $10 million an episode. It's exclusively for their Disney streaming service, and that is costly. That is very costly. It's already a huge investment in just creating some rather... I don't know. Is it for everyone? Is The Mandalorian going to appeal to everyone? Or just very, very, very devoted Star Wars fans? And by the way, at this point, very, very, very devoted Star Wars fans are having their mixed emotions validated by what Disney and Lucasfilm have been getting up to. All right, so prices in streaming will likely surge. Losses will likely surge in the early days of the venture as content and technology costs spike, said Rich Greenfield, an analyst at BTIG. Disney has also yet to assume control of another 30% of Hulu, part of its $71 billion deal for the majority of 21st Century Fox. If Disney were to acquire Comcast's 30% stake in Hulu, it would further increase operating losses. Streaming requires a strong stomach for losses, especially as you are playing catch-up, said Greenfield in an interview. Disney is hoping that over time, millions of paying customers will subscribe to Disney Plus for its new original content and library of Disney movies and TV shows. Pricing hasn't yet been disclosed. Netflix, which announced its quarterly earnings on Thursday, has 139 million global subscribers and just informed them that it's raising its prices by 13 to 18%. All right, so everybody already is addicted to Netflix. Netflix is going to stick around. Can Disney actually convince people at this point, when everybody is pissed off at what Disney is doing, and very few people are enjoying anything other than the Marvel Comics, the MCU movies? Can Disney convince people to invest in another streaming service in addition to Hulu and Netflix and Amazon? Are they going to be able to do that? That's going to be an interesting task. I'm prepared to watch them fall on their faces at this point. Streaming is a hard place to make money, even for Netflix. Why is Bob Iger single-mindedly devoting himself to this? In this case, why wouldn't he just partner up with Netflix? Or I really don't understand why it has to be Disney and solely and exclusively Disney. Surely partnering up with Netflix would even the costs out a little bit. While the company consistently posts positive operating income, it has burned cash for years, raising new debt and spending the revenue it generates on new content. Netflix could spend well over $10 billion for movies and shows in 2019, according to some analyst estimates. I mean, Netflix is actually asking for original content now. It's not just the dumping ground for movies, and also it used to have just terrible movies. I used to go to Netflix and look for horror movies, and it had a plethora of just the most awful, small budget horror movies I'd ever seen. All of it was terrible. None of it was interesting. Most of the best stuff there is documentaries. Now, if Disney can actually create a streaming service that contains like a massive quantity of Disney content, like all of the cartoons, from the beginning to current days, if they could do things like all of the Walt Disney Presents documentaries from the 50s and the 60s, all of the stuff that actually ended up on those lovely Disney box sets that came out 10, 15 years ago, all of that stuff, if that were available, just like a library of 100% content, I might pay $8 a month for it. But the idea of getting, Disney Channel plus some new Star Wars stuff that I'm only a little bit interested in, I'm just not sure that it's going to work out. And already they're having trouble here. I think Wall Street is at least accepting of the fact that we're doing this, and that's the most important thing that we're doing, Iger told Barron's in an interview. And while I won't say they're cheering us on, they're definitely giving us the room to prove we can do it. These guys, give them all the room that they need to fail, because they will surpass your wildest expectations. What they are doing with Star Wars is absolutely astonishing. Tripping over their own feet left and right, making mistakes, not fixing their mistakes, hiring 100% incompetent people to run the most beloved fantasy franchise of all time right into the ground. I guess, apparently, the same thing is going to happen as they pursue streaming, as they pursue competing with Netflix. Dude, I don't know. I mean, I used to trust you. I'm feeling a little bit weird. You got me feeling a little bit weird lately, Bob.
Hey, want to follow me on Twitter? Okay, cool. I'm at Ethan Van Sciver. Talk to you there.
Join the fandom menace and execute your own Order 66 with our incredible line of t-shirts, Soylo, a Soy Wars story, Tico, a Soy Wars story, and our brand new smoking hot Soy Wars Plan 9. Make a statement today. This is the only trilogy you'll ever need. The link is below in the description. If you enjoyed this video and want to become part of this community, subscribe to this channel by clicking the laughing man face logo right on your screen. Ring the bell for notifications as well. You'll never miss a live chat. And stay tuned, another video by Comic Artist Pro Secrets is coming right up.